Today we're going to talk about how to create a patch list. A patch list is an important document that will have all the ins and outs of an audio system, from a kick mic appearing in channel 1 to an output going to a floor monitor. All this information is essential as you will need it while building a show file, troubleshooting an audio signal flow, designing an audio system, or for training purposes. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to create a patch list. Again, there is some multiple ways to do a patch list. This is how I do it most of the times. So in here, as you can tell, I created a patch list, a template, which has everything I need. And now you might ask yourself, like, why do I need a patch list? Well, you need a patch list because it's important to have all your I/O or your inputs and outputs documented. So that you can know where like a line from stage is going and how is everything routed, so that if there is any issues, you know how the signal flow is set up on your stage or pretty much on your venue. At the same time, a patch list is really good to have an inventory of your equipment, so you know how many microphones you have, how many cables you need to do your patch. All those little things that actually will save you time, and it's just having all the information ready, available for when you need it. For example, when you go and do a tour, or when you do a conference and you need to get a production supplier, well, it's actually with your patch list, you have all the equipment they need, and it's easy for them to read through it. And again, looks really organized, looks like you are prepared. Again, these patch lists, you can use it for any scenario, like going on a tour, being on your own venue, or you can even use it for a studio when you go to just record something. You know where to patch things and stuff like that. Now, what are the things that a patch list should have? Of course, as you can tell in here in my input patch tab, input name. It's really important to make sure your names are nice and clear and easy to read. At the same time, you need to have how your signal flow is. For example, in this case, I'm going from input, to the name and what device are you using. In that case, if you need a stand, do you need an XLR for it or a jack? And then what stage box are you gonna use? And then from the stage block to a split if you have one, and then to your I/O on your rack. At the same time, again, it's really good here to know that, like, what equipment you will need to make your inputs to work. Now, you might be asking yourself, how do I build a patch list? Well, it's actually not that hard. Again, if in here in my patch list I made it look pretty, so it looks good, and it does a bunch of stuff. But again, doesn't need to be that complicated. But for this case, I'm just gonna show you what you can do with Excel. Pretty much everyone has Excel. All the information it's out there in the internet. There's a couple of formulas that will take you a little bit long to get it done. But again, once you get it all done, you might be flying by doing patch list, and everything just looks more organized. Another thing you need to consider. Okay, so first step. We created pretty much our columns, right? In this case, I created the input name. What device am I gonna use? If it's a microphone, DI, etc. What stand? Jack cable. Do I need a jack cable? What's the length? XLR. Again, what's the length? The stage input. Which stage box on your stage are you gonna put it on? What split is that going through? And then your console I/O. First, again, once you kind of have that, the first thing I reckon you should do is having what's your IO and console limitation. So in this case, let's just put a scenario that I have a Digico console with a SD rack. Again, SD rack as a default has 56 channels. So let's just start with let's just say we all share one SD rack, and so let's start typing some numbers. So in here, in my front has columned. I already put, so if you type in there, you can scroll down and you can just put all the labels, which is really cool. So I'm going to start with one. I'm going to monitors. I'm going to start monitor. Again, broadcast if you have broadcast. But in this case, I don't need broadcast, but I want to record. So I'm going to record into MGB. So I'm going to patch it in there. Okay, cool. So I'm going to just select that and then scroll down up to 56. So in this case, so yeah, so we are gonna type our IO limitation. So I use up all my okay. So there you go. So I type the SD rack, and I give it a number identifier, which is A. In that case, I just have one, so A, and then the input number, so A1. Now you can have, if you have multiple, then for example, monitors will be, SD rack B1, and then you keep going. So that's all nice and clean, everything labeled properly. So okay. So then after that, pretty much you will start with your input name. Again, in this case, I'm gonna create like a 4-piece band with a little bit of tracks and maybe one vocalist. And so let's create this patch list, right? So I'm gonna create I'm gonna have a kick in, then kick out, snare top, snare bottom, hats, tom 1, tom 2, tom 3, overhead left, overhead right, and maybe click. Cool. And then let's just say we have a bass player, bass 1. We have 2 lines of bass. Let's add a third one just because we have sometimes a bass in, so bass 3, and okay, then move on to guitarist. The guitarist has like 3 amps, so let's just call it guitar 1, guitar 2, guitar 3. And then we have a keyboard player, keys 1 left, keys 1 left, keys 1 left, keys 1 right, and then we're gonna have some tracks. So let's just say let's do 4 set of tracks. 2 tracks, 1, 1, 2, 4. And we're gonna have a main vocal. Okay, so again, it's a very simple example on how to do a patch list. So you can go to 200 inputs or more, whatever you have available. But for this example, I'm just gonna do a small piece of band. So then the next column, you pretty much select what device you need. Okay, for a kick in, okay, so I created a list, right? On the tab that's called items in the market. So I put in here, I just pretty much put all the all the microphones I will think of, from a 57 to a 58 to Sennheiser 901, etc. So you put them there. So I pretty much create a formula that it creates a list in here. So I just pretty much select what items we have. So let's go input patch. So we go, okay, so it has 901, I want, and then a kick out, I want beta 52A, snare top, classic 57. So let's do another 57. Hats 914. Toms, let's put for example, here I want to put a 904, so I just go to my items in the market and type Sennheiser E914 904. So then we'll go back to my input patch, and it should appear there. Okay, there you go. So we just keep scrolling. 904. The overheads, let's put 914. Again, this is, you can choose whatever you want. There is no right or wrongs here. JDI, I want J48s on the bass. Again, this is all the eyes. Guitars, I want a 414, 57. 914. Keys, I want a J48. And then tracks, I want a JDI. So I want 4 JDIs. In this case, for the main vocal, we're gonna use a wired 58, which I believe is not here. So let's just go and add to our items in the market. So Shure SM58. So I'm just gonna sort this out. Okay, so now it's all in order. Okay, so then SM58. Okay, great. So yeah, once you have that, okay, so that we have the input name and then what device are you gonna use for it, and then stands. So you go whatever stands you have, but in this case, I'm gonna put a kick in. You don't need one. Beta 52. I'm gonna put an extra small short boom for this. Hats, short boom, tom 1, not applicable. Not applicable. Toms, I want a tall tail boom. Click, not applicable. No one. For this case, for the bass, I don't need stand. So I'm just gonna put, for the guitars, I need short booms. For the keyboards, I don't need a stand. Not even for the neither the tracks. And the main vocal, I want straight stand. Again, I created in there if we go to inventory, I create a list with all the stands that we have, this style of stands that we have. So let's go back to our input patch, and then in here you go like, okay, there is multiple lengths of jack cables and multiple lengths of XLRs. So again, kicking, you don't need you need a jack, so probably you put not applicable. So let's just go here and kick out, you don't need one. You don't need any for the drums. besides the click, because you might want one short one, 3 meter. For the bass, I want a 5 meter. 5 meter cable for it. Guitars, I want a 5 meter too. For the keyboard, I want a 3 meter. For the tracks, let's just put a 3 meter too. And then for the vocalist, I want a 10 meter. Okay, so let's go. Actually, so I don't need a jack for the. So let's go back to our XLR now. So now you go, okay, for the kick in, I want a 5 meter. Pretty much I like 5s on all drums. I'm gonna put a 7 in there, and then 7 on the overheads. Click, I want like a 3. Bass, I want short ones. Cause next to the stage, I want short ones from there. So 3 meters in here, and then my vocal, I might need a 20 meter, just because he's gonna be running around the stage. So anyways, okay, so you see, like, again, it's all everything we need right now to make all this input patch work. So now in here, the stage bit, you pretty much select where are those inputs gonna appear on your stage. So I created a stage plot. So let's go into my stage plot. So this is my stage plot. So I have my drums in there, I have my bass, and then my guitar, then keys and tracks. Now, assuming that you have enough stage boxes and long cables, just multi-pin cables that goes to your patch wall. Yeah, so then I allocated one stage box per location so that it's easy and we don't need to run long cables. Again, that looks neat on a stage. So anyways, it's always good to, when you are creating or designing a patch, have a stage plot, so you know where you're gonna allocate this stuff into the stage. So okay, let's go back to our input patch. Okay, so stage. I'm gonna, because every input name has its own stage box, so I'm just gonna give it, drums is gonna be A1, A2, and it's gonna be up to the click. And then bass is B1, B2, and B3. Now in this, again, Excel allows you to, every time you type a letter or some like number, that you can make it change color, so you can customize all that. So it's a conditional formatting, which is really good. For example, in here, let's just say in the guitar, I press B1, it's going green because I told the Excel sheet to go green if there is a duplicate, which I don't, that allows me, that will let me know that someone is already using that stage box input, which is really good when you have like a patch of 100 inputs. So okay, guitar C1, C2, C3, and then keys D1, D2. So just for this case, I'm just gonna I'm gonna put the main singer on C12 just for fun. Okay, so from input to our stage inputs is all done. Splits, if you have a split, in this case I put a 56 input split, but because we were just sharing the same rack, so you could bypass this. So I'm just gonna pretty much clear it all up, and because we don't need a split for in this case. Okay, so then you see it's all pretty much a really simple patch. It's all one-to-one. So now we go to our inventory here. Now, again, having, getting to know formulas, you have all done. You pretty much whatever you type on your input patch, it will create a list for you. So in here, I know how many microphones I need to do my input patch, and then how many jack cables do I need. So 7 3 meters, 6 5 meters, so a total of 11 cables. Again, it's really good when you are going through your stock and okay, at least I have 11 cables of that, or 15 XLRs, whatever. And then the same thing with the stands. It's all there, easy. The total amount of microphones you need, or DIs. Okay, so that's pretty much your input patch. That's how you do your patch. Now, let's go to your output patch. So in this case, let's start with monitor. So we go to output patch tab, and then start creating your mixes. So again, that depends on how you have it all set on your console. But in this case, I'm just gonna go, all one-to-one. So I'm gonna go drums left, drums right, bass left, bass right, guitar left, guitar right, keys left, keys right, and then main vocal. Okay, what device are you gonna use in this case? Because it's stereo mix, I'm gonna merge that. So I'm gonna call it device here. For example, I need to go to my inventory and type all that. So I want items in market. Shure P9 hardwires and a P10 Shure P10 transmitter. Okay, so go back to output patch, and then we scroll down, and there you go. So I want the same one for all these. And then I want a P10T transmitter for the main vocal. Again, I don't need any jacks in this case. Again, I just left it there because they might have a little mixer or something, so you need some kind of jacks or something like that. XLRs, so in this case, let's just say they need to be extended because sometimes the cables are really short. So we just put a 3 meter in there. And main vocal is wireless, so you don't need. And then where on the stage are they gonna appear? So in this case, so let's go back to our stage plot. Okay, so each one has their own stage box, so that's easy. Now let's go back to the input patch. Now in this case, because I allocated 11, so in this scenario we're gonna use a 12 channel stage boxes. So that means in here I'm already out. I'm one more channel, and I won't be able to put the stereo in-ears in one stage box. So I'm just gonna move the click into the bass player, which is really close. So I'm just gonna put it in B4 in this case. And then let's go back to our output patch. And I'm gonna put it in A11, A12, B11, B12, guitar, C11, C12. I think I'm using C12 already. Let me check. Yeah, so the main vocal, let's put in C8 for now. So go back to your output patch, and then the keyboard in D11, D12. Okay, and then your output. Where's that output gonna go? And then you can write some notes in there if you need to write some. I don't know. You might put in there the settings of the pack. What are you gonna use? Stuff like that. Just little notes. Okay, so we finished our output patch. So for monitors, they're not. For example, they're not using wedges. But let's go to front of house. So front of house, we just wanna left, right, and subs. And device, you actually don't need to put anything. Just you might go out of local, front of house local. So you go. So if you're gonna use the locals, then you need a couple of XLRs. So you'll go to 7 meter cables. And you want to go into a front of house local. Let's see if we find it. Yeah, so here, local one. To 2, and this one on 3. Okay, and then a couple of notes even there if you want to, just to make it clear. So yeah, we finish pretty much our output patch, and so I create another tab that it's all called stage boxes. So it tells you pretty much what's on what input of the stage box. So it's really easy to see. So you, for example, in this case, you can actually design this so that you can print it and then put it on your stage box, so that again you don't need to use lecky tape and then spend for a bit of time labeling everything. Again, so it's just stuff that you can do on Excel. But if you spend a little bit of time, you can actually get a proper patch list that will save you so much time when it comes to preparation for your gig or event. So yeah, that's it. This is it, guys. So again, we just create an input patch that 24 input patch, output patch. It tells you how many, like all your inventory. So how many microphones you need, how many jack XLRs, how many stands you need. You even create a stage plot if you want to. Now, the cool thing with this is, like, if you ever want to go for a hire, like hire to a production company, you pretty much deliver this document, and it all makes sense, and it's easy to read. It looks organized and looks professional. So hopefully this helps you, and we'll see you in the next episode.